Hello everybody, Jackie here, and today I'd like to let you all know that this is a response video to a particular YouTuber that I am a big fan of, as well as take influence from. That would be Jirard the Completionist. And of course, he's gone through a lot. He's made plenty of entertaining videos. He has 201, in fact, and a great amount of subscribers. At least a lot more great than mine. But yeah, he's been through a lot, especially since he and his friend Greg parted ways when they created The Completionist back then, the show The Completionist, and he made this video, The Future of the Completionist, which, of course, I won't go into the drama about, the drama between Jirard and Greg. I'm not here to discuss that. I don't really discuss too much drama on this channel unless it's like a little bit more, I guess you could say, relevant, and if it involves like a development of a game or something like that. I would discuss it more, but I'm not really a drama channel. So yeah, this video here is going to be linked in the description down below. Now, he's made plenty of good videos. He's even founded his Let's Play channel known as the Super Beard Bros. And he's friends with Pro Jared, Ego Raptor, and various others, including Peanut Butter Gamer, and the list goes on. He's also part of NormalBoots.com, which has plenty of... I'm just going to quickly bring this up and to show you exactly who we're dealing with here. Channels are such as Continue, Digino Gaming, Roger, Satch Bags Goods. I believe JonTron is part of this. I don't know why his channel's not here. Maybe he's not part of it or not. I don't know. Get back to me on that. I'm not going to go into that. What I am going to go into is one episode, the very first episode, in fact, of his Defend It series, where he covered a game that I had the misfortune of playing called Duke Nukem Forever. In this one, he defends it. And let me just double check my sound settings. Him defending something and having his own opinion is perfectly fine. I'm not going to diss him for that. I like him. And this is practically an old video anyway, but this is more of my own personal opinion with Duke Nukem Forever. Oh, look at that box art. Doesn't it look great? Some of the gameplay is good, but we'll get into that in a bit. It definitely looks promising. Please note, this had a troubled development cycle and took forever to come out. But enough dabbling. Let's get started.
Ow!
Please note that I will be pausing it frequently, okay?
I hit a wall.
The Internet!
Your Honor?
You claim that this game is awful and should rot in hell for all of eternity!
Indeed, Your Honor. Every big media gaming company gave this video game a bad rating, and we agree.
Defend it!
Your Honor,
Are these allegations true?
I believe to be false.
Well, that's just your opinion, no offense.
Your Honor, the defendant has no case.
Oh, he has a case. He just, how do you put it, is wrong in a sense. I will point it out soon enough.
No case.
I love that production value. I just love it. Sorry.
Objection! Defend it!
This episode, it's in memory of Ralph T. Evans from 54 to 2012. Thank you for bringing the joy of video games to another generation. Oh yeah. Rest in peace, bruh. Much love.
Episode 1. Duke Nukem Forever and ever and ever.
Shut the fuck up, Greg. Please, just stop trying to be funny. No one likes you anymore.
And ever and ever and for, well, it's a long time.
Today's case is Duke Nukem Forever versus the Internets on the charge of sucking balls. Each of you will have 3 pieces of evidence and a witness to prove your case. Mr. Internets, you will go first, because that is a fantastic suit, I have to say. Where did you buy it? You must tell me that.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now,
Okay, I'll admit, some of Greg's jokes are funny, but nobody really likes him as a person very much, even if they've laughed at some of his old stuff. So yeah.
we all know that Duke Nukem Forever was a dismal flop in today's gaming society. The people waited anxiously for nearly 14 years for this game to come out, and when it did, the world wept.
Objection!
However, the thing you gotta understand is it also changed developers constantly. Gearbox couldn't even save it. There's some information floating around that says that they refused to, but get back to me on that.
Prosecution is stating an opinion, not a fact.
I am the internet. Everything I say is a fact.
Order! Order in my courtroom! I want a sandwich and a Diet Pepsi and some chips. Prosecution, you better have your point ready because I will eat your family. I'm so hungry.
And your hamster. I've seen it.
This had a lot of hype.
First and foremost, the hype of Duke Nukem. This game, as everyone knows, took nearly 14 to 15 years to create, and due to all the legal battles, this game was never going to live up to that hype. In fact, this game was never going to be resurrected if it wasn't for 2K and Gearbox coming together to try and save it. While a valiant attempt, they should have let Duke stay dead. This Duke Nukem Forever poisoned the minds of the current generation of gamers in regards to the love they once had for the Duke.
Okay, please note that this video is mostly a response to what Jirard has to say about it in terms of his defense. Yeah, it had a lot of those.
The old Duke Nukem games were known for a lot of things. Their jokes about sex, blood, violence, and guns. Guns especially played an important role in the Duke franchise. The problem with Duke Nukem Forever is its limitations in regards to gun control. In the past games, some allowed you to hold up to 10 different weapons of many different varieties. This allowed gamers to have a diverse experience, allowing them to think quickly based on the madness occurring. In Duke Nukem Forever, you're limited to openly being able to hold 2 guns at a time. 2. This is a drastic change to the formula. Not only does this change the formula, but it defies what Duke is, an action hero abridged into a badass game.
To further my point,
It doesn't really limit him too much, it just removes some of the cool, ridiculous, macho cool factors that what Duke had, but whatever.
I call Michael Barrity of Belated Media to the stand to discuss what it means to be an action hero. Hey, Jirard.
Sorry. Message me on OkCupid.
Please state your full name and if you swear to play games or whatever you want to swear.
I don't think that's how it goes.
I have a wig! Continue.
Belated Media
Ready. Not my last name.
What is the essential action hero?
The essential action hero, which Duke Nukem is based off of, is Arnold Schwarzenegger from the 80s and 90s films. However, that sort of hero is somewhat outdated. However, that idea of the action hero is still very present, as we've seen from success from films such as The Expendables or Machete. John McClane didn't even have shoes, and he still managed to kick ass with glass in his feet. And the thing that makes all of those action heroes so iconic is the fact that they can kill and disassemble everybody with any number of weapons in their arsenal. When it comes down to it, and when you compare the two, they're like apples and oranges, because Duke has 2 guns, and action heroes have unlimited guns.
Yep.
No further questions.
That is a good limitation, though. It's a very fair argument.
When did you get here?
Defendant, you're up.
Okay.
How do you stack up to this fair argument, even though it's not a major problem with the game, but it is one of its issues?
Mr. Barrity. Mr. Barrity.
Yeah, Jirard.
Do you own a arsenal of guns?
Do not, you know that. I
Would you say you own 1 gun?
also would not say I...
I rest my case.
That doesn't prove anything, but it does get a good chuckle.
Does that have to...
Damn it. That was a good point. I'm gonna have to kick it up a notch.
I love how he thinks this is relevant.
today's modern age of gaming, graphics have become the true forefront of immersion. A lot of games, to today's standard, have to look polished, clean, 100% ready to play, or else the gamer gets turned off. And this is the biggest offense that Duke Nukem Forever is guilty of. The graphics look incredibly dated and look like they were made for a previous generation of console. Not to mention, the load times, which are unbearable, are so incredibly long that you have time to go make yourself a sandwich.
Okay, of course. I get what you're saying. Okay.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Fair enough. Well spoken and presented, Mr. Interwebs. Completionist, it's your show now. Well, I suppose it's always been your show.
Right. As the interweb so subtly stated, there are 3 reasons as to why everyone as a collective whole hated Duke Nukem Forever. But for every one of his reasons, there's another one of mine that validates or invalidates his reasons and proves mine true. The fact that this game does not suck at all.
Okay, that you're wrong. No, it sucks. It sucks. It's one of the worst games ever. No, I have to disagree there. No offense.
It's really hard to claim that the fact that this game took 14 years to make means that this is going to be the best Duke, let alone the best game ever created. The argument is invalid, considering the controversy of what happened. So many things went wrong during the developmental process. There's no wonder as to why it took so long to produce. So it's unfair to assume that this game would come out smelling like roses.
Correct. It's not going to come out perfect, and I didn't think it would be perfect, but the gameplay leaves much to be desired. It's mostly that, and the gunplay, but let's continue.
Now people will argue, oh, they had more than enough time, they had 14 years, derp-a-herp-a-herp. Yeah, true, time may have been a big deal, but look what's happened to the gaming industry in the past 14 years. Portable gaming has become huge because of the iPhone. A lot of non-gamers have come to finally play games because of the Wii, and there's almost an MMORPG for just about anyone's favorite kind of fantasy or sci-fi franchise.
That doesn't mean they shouldn't put effort into what was there. They done fucked up, Jirard. Please, but enlighten me with some more info.
It's important to note that while Duke has stayed in a cryogenic stasis, the gaming world of the first-person shooter has evolved into things like Call of Duty and Battlefield. The standards have changed, and the market is now filled with games that try to become the next Call of Duty or the next Battlefield. And at this point, when Duke Nukem made his triumphant return, a lot of people judged it with the mindset of, it's not Call of Duty or Battlefield. See, with Duke Nukem Forever, they wanted to honor the changes of the industry more by converting some of the old elements and make it more realistic, like regenerating health. But you can't change much because you have to hail to the king. Not to mention, there's numerous amounts of minigames that make the game creatively more fun than just a 12-hour shoot fest.
However, a lot of which is there, aside from the pinball, which is kind of cool, lifting weights is kind of cool, but then there's this RCE portion, which really isn't. I know you're saying that it has some replay value, but just to let you know, there are plenty of other games that handle in-game activities a lot better. Saints Row. GTA 5. What's that game? Oh yeah, that's right. The Yakuza games.
Platforming, minigames, and much more covered with comedic gold. Sign me up.
But Duke's jokes in this game are, dare I say it, basically dumbed down from how it originally was, Jirard. Have you even listened to a lot of it? Look, I like Duke just as much as anyone else, including the fandom, but that's not really a good defense, no offense.
The interweb's point of this game's bad graphics and loading screens being too long are very important to the average gamer. Hell, it's important to all gamers. But the important question is, where did Duke come from? What was his first and real home in the gaming world? The answer is simple, the PC, and the PC world has not forgot about him. If you've been fortunate enough to own a computer that can handle Duke Nukem Forever, it looks astonishing. And there's minimal to no graphical errors, and the loading times are incredibly short, especially in comparison to the console versions.
Okay, that's a good point, but what about the gunplay? Because, really, it's not really all that great.
But does the console version of this game hold enough for the average gamer, even if he's not familiar with this game, let alone the franchise of Duke Nukem? Ladies and gentlemen, Your Honor, video game connoisseur Zan Alda. That's right, the nephew of that guy from MASH.
Early morning fog I see visions of the things to be.
Zan Alda, prior to the Duke Nukem game, had you had any experience with Duke Nukem himself or the franchise?
No hands-on experience, but I saw my friends play a little bit here and there when I was younger, but I didn't really grow up with PC gaming, so I was left out of the fun, ultimately.
Okay, so you're not a PC gamer, not a bad thing.
However, I argue that this game can be a guilty pleasure. There's some fun to be had with it, sure, but it's very outdated. It didn't evolve well enough. It didn't have to be the next COD or Battlefield. It just had to be better in terms of gameplay and feel. Even though Duke is obviously more macho and such, it's not something that, how do you put this, translated well in newer games. I think he was, in my honest opinion, had better dialogue in that Bulletstorm game, which he is actually a, basically just an optional add-in for the, newest edition. Basically, it's a special edition re-release of Bulletstorm, because it's essentially the same game, except it's re-released for next-gen consoles and PC.
So I understand recently
His dialogue and, for the most part, everything's handled better there. The gunplay's even good.
that you did a complete playthrough of Duke Nukem Forever on your PS3.
Correct.
Now, how did that experience go for you, considering that you were not a first-person shooter or Duke Nukem fan to begin with?
It was surprisingly positive. I had a lot of good time, because it's like, I don't play online too much. If you don't play online too much, you're really not going to get too far into first-person shooters.
However, I get where you're coming from. But the thing you have to understand, bro, is that regardless of what you say, it just feels more like a guilty pleasure than anything. Even if Duke makes fun of himself, which, in a sense, we didn't think he would ever do, but he can be fun when he does it, obviously, right? There's some bright spots here and there, leading on to the gameplay and features within it that mostly are lackluster. But then there's the case with, what do you call it? Oh yeah, the enemies not reacting to getting shot. The ones in friggin' Doom. The Doom reboot that came out, which is supposedly Doom 4, or at least that's what it's called, which is actually made by id. That reboot had enemies that actually reacted to getting shot. The ones in this one didn't. It's like, come on, I don't want to feel like I'm playing Prey. No, I'm not talking about the new Prey or any other Prey for that matter. I'm referring to the really old one that came out on Xbox 360. I believe it was an exclusive to it. I don't know. Get back to me on that. I believe it's also on PC.
You're left with a very short
The really old one, of course.
campaign mode, and it can feel kind of dry in the gritty Call of Duty and Battlefield world. And it definitely appealed to my nostalgia of the 80s, 90s movies that I grew up with, Duke Nukem. It never took itself too seriously. It was campy, it was fun, it wasn't broken.
Yeah,
It's a good time.
there you go. Now let me ask you one more question, Tim, before I let you go. Do you own Duke Nukem Forever?
I don't. I gameflied it when it came out, just a quick rental over the weekend. You know, just to test the waters. $60 is a high price point, but I am definitely going to pick it up when it comes out on a cheaper price, probably.
There you go. No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Wait, I did just see it for like $11 in the GameFly store used, and I didn't get it.
Thank you, Sam.
Wait, I did have like $5 in credits, and I still didn't get it.
Oh god, I'm sorry, but it's too funny, man.
Get it like $6 would. It could drop again. in price.
Thank you, Sam, for your great help.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Webbs, your cross-examination.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Because this is the internet, I guarantee that a bunch of people out there bought Duke Nukem Forever on its launch day, thinking that it would be the best game ever. I admit, I bought it. I bought one of the collector's editions because I'm such a huge fan of the Duke. Was I disappointed? A little bit, but the game brought all the fun for me that I wanted from it. And those people that claim that it was not a Duke game probably are hiding behind one simple truth. They've never played a Duke Nukem game prior to this.
Oh, it's a Duke game. It's just the Duke game that nobody acknowledges or wants to talk about. That's the way I see it.
Because to your avid Duke Nukem player, there's one thing that makes Duke Nukem fun as hell, and that's the king himself. The character of Duke Nukem...
But, like I said earlier, his lines are just not that good this time around. Have you even played it? I know that you have a different sense of humor, and I accept that, but it's like, I just did not care for this, man. No matter what you do, even when you face that big-ass... Not the robot, I could handle that one. It was this one beast that you faced later on. I think he shoots rockets at you. He could take a rocket to the face. He's like friggin' OP. It doesn't have to be realistic, but for Christ's sake, man. And then they have the audacity to go the Leisure Suit Larry box office bust and think that just because the game uses swear words, it's funny. I'm sorry, man, but I don't agree with you. You can think what you want, and you're welcome to it and all. I accept it. I love you, Jirard. But I don't agree with you here. No offense.
Nukem himself has enough nostalgia to carry this game despite all of its flaws. The subtle remarks, all the nudity and the comments associated to it.
They even screwed up on some nudity. It doesn't always look as good as it was in the opening badass cutscene of Duke kicking ass. And of course, there's those two chicks that he was with. I forget their names. The twins? Yeah. They look good and all, but when you venture further into the game, there is a lot of ugliness that is displayed. Even if the PC version looks better, I just don't really see how it can be all that much better.
From all the pop culture references, it all comes back full circle as to why we play Duke Nukem games. Duke Nukem. For me, this game was fun as hell, and dare I say, it's good to see the king back. And I'll end this statement with his iconic phrase, "Hail to the king, baby!"
But this video shows that he's the king of the old school shooters in a sense, even though it's really debatable, but whatever, man. Think what you wish. There are plenty of other badass characters as well. Don't forget about Doom Guy. As well as characters from Quake. Sure, Duke is great, but... Actually, now I think about it, he is pretty good, but... Huh. Whatever. I'm really more criticizing his DNF. Did not... what's another good word? Yeah, the did not finish game. The DNF game.
Mr. Interwebs, you have fought valiantly in this case. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Yes, Your Honor. Duke Nukem Forever is today's version of those ET cartridges. They should be buried somewhere in the middle of the Nevada desert.
Okay, I will admit, Duke Nukem Forever, in my opinion, sucks balls. But it doesn't need to be buried. I'm sorry, it's not that bad. It has some ounce of playability, but it's just not a game that I would consider to be a really good game, so to speak. So, I'm just gonna say right now, I'm not entirely going to be one of those graphics whores. I mean, a game doesn't have to look good to play good, but you know what I mean. The Duke just didn't really satisfy me well enough with DNF. I'm sorry.
Along with Cinnamon, an S. The hooker with the heart of gold. And also those that people say videos. Also, this guy's a douchebag.
Objection! Admittedly, Duke Nukem Forever is not the best game ever created. However, there are far worse out there that exist. And you know what? Those games can go in that pile of your little dead hooker ET video game videos out there, okay?
Yes, Sonic 2006 is definitely one of those games. Or as it's also called, Sonic Next Gen, but you know what I mean.
And you're a douchebag. You're a douchebag, bro. You wanna go, bro? You wanna go, bro? Let's go, bro!
Order in my courtroom. Who won? You decide. Leave your comments and thoughts on who you...
Okay, that's about it for this video. I think that about covers it all. It's not the worst... Well, okay, it is one of the worst games ever, but it does not deserve to be buried in a landfill. Let's just be honest, okay? It's really not. So, with that being said, we're just going to have to move on to pretty much my final thoughts. This is a good video, even though I did not entirely agree with all of the points presented. So, that's pretty much it. Good work, Jirard, even though I disagree with you here. And you all should definitely check out The Completionist. His channel is linked down below and whatnot. So, yeah. Anywho, I'm going to cut it here. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next videos. Stay batty, my friends.